Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Rao, opening my room on calming the mind. I've been doing this for the last few days, and people are coming and joining and discussing various things related to our mind and our restlessness, our stress, our burnout, and you name it, we have been talking about it. Audience was small, but they have very deep, pertinent questions that we were answering. Hopefully, this has become something you have noticed and you used in your life to calm your mind in the morning and in the night. And that way, we are not really having this mental overload, overwhelm, or brain fog. So many things people report, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Basically, our technological society is giving us a lot more information at a much faster rate, right? And that's why we are exposed to so much information, so much stimuli, and that doesn't help us to really calm our mind. And so if you don't really deliberately try to do that, probably you will be doing all work all the time, because there's plenty to read and listen and hear about a lot of stuff that's going on out there. News, 24-hour channels, all the multi social media, and the availability of the phone in our hand. It used to be in the evening news, but now every minute, every second, we're bombarded with the notifications, with bombarded with info, whatever outlets that we subscribe to, right? And some people are kind of trying to control it. Like I know some of my friends who are checking email only twice a day, and so they use the podcast so that they can listen to the people that they want to listen to at the time they want to listen to. They don't want to be bothered with this 24-hour news channels. But a lot of people are getting innocently sucked into that 24-hour news channel, and they listen to things that they're not ready to listen to, like a breaking stories, something like the breaking news, right? That's what they say. So all these things are kind of harmful for us in the long run, because the mind is exposed to something like a neurotic activity, because it is repeated as the same thing, and they don't stop showing it one time; they show it 10 times, and all those things, especially the younger generation. It's not good at all. But the older generation, probably they may not be interested that much, Um, so that's why I figured that people have to devise a way, something that works for them, so that they take some time off from their regular mental chatter to that calms them down, that restores the balance, that brings them back to the presence, so that they can enjoy whatever they are doing, people could be doing different things, right? They can listen to soft music, or they can listen to some instrumental music that they can produce themselves, or they can study a light reading or humorous reading, and laughter is the best medicine, right? So that's also very good. Actually, I know a type of yoga form. I'm sure many of you have heard of that too. That is laughter yoga. So they deliberately sit in front of not sit, but stand in front of the mirror, and they try to laugh aloud. Okay, they do that all the time. Okay, so that kind of thing is there, and you can also go out and walk in the nature and enjoy the roses, smell the roses, like or you can enjoy your pet and just relax and take the pet for a walk. So many different things people can do just to be quiet, But then these days, you may not even have that chance because you are carrying the phone with you. Then you are carrying the whole world with you, and that's why I'm trying to bring to the people's attention that you got to deliberately calm your mind. Take some breaks from all this information overload. And the thing I'm teaching is all the time, just to have a deep breath that brings you to the present moment. So this I call present moment breathing break. In the morning, you can do that for a few minutes, and then in the evening, you can do it for a few minutes. Ideally, it's better to do it first thing when you get up, and the last thing to do before you go to sleep, right? And in between, maybe a few times taking time off from that continuous mental chatter and deliberately deep breathe and bring yourself to the present and then go and work. Then you won't have the brain fog, you won't have the overwhelm, you will be giving your mind a chance. The longer you do, the more you do, the better it would be, And then something magical you will see is like everything is going smooth because you are paying attention in the present to the present moment of what is happening here and now, right? So that kind of thing really helps you to be here and now, and which is always good, I think. And there's other thing too. As you allow this chatter to go on without anything, it can feed on itself, and it can make you fidgety, nervous, anxious, and really not having that calm, restful feeling that you'll have when you are doing stuff, right? So all these things are very, very subtle, simple, but then external world has become so much with so many things pushing at us, they are not giving us a break. Hi, Angela.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing well.
Very
I
good.
was just listening in this other room. I seen you had popped up a little while ago.
Yeah, yeah. So I think finally my internet is better. So I opened the other channels also. But
Oh,
3 4 days they were doing some repairs of the road in the front. So I don't know what they did, but we were not having a good internet. We were running on my cell phone and all that. Now finally we got it. So how are things with you, Angela?
it's okay. I was sitting here trying to not trying. Well, I was organizing the book I wanted to put together.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing right now.
Very good, very good. I kind
Thinking
of
of
finished those three small books I was doing, so that's good. One is on inner resilience, and the other one is on the meditation itself, and the other one
mhm.
is about servant leadership. So this I'm finishing them all. So uh, I kind of do them according to my energy. So I don't have a particular agenda, and then I just do them whenever I have the feel for it, and then completely done it. you
Oh
know?
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Uh,
Well, I was just looking over something, but I'm trying to get it off of my phone to put some of the other information on the laptop, and since it's full,
uh,
I gotta delete some. But I'm
uh,
gonna probably wait till tomorrow to continue.
yeah.
Since I've been on some of the rooms mostly all day, I've been working on some of this
Yeah. Mhm.
because they had a good room going on. One of the guys was talking about making like a device, like for people when they, get ready to fall out or had to
Yeah.
check their monitor, their heart monitor and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I was asking about, you have that 15-minute window time.
Yeah.
Would be some kind of way to add that into that chip that they have.
Uh,
Because if you can't get them to the hospital because of that the
yeah.
things they would need, we
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to save that person no matter what we do.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, so
Do
many.
you know, not to cut you off, what is that? What is it that they actually do in that 15-minute times with that machine that they need so they can have, they have to be at the hospital to get it?
Yeah, because what is called asynchronicity. That means what is happening to the machine, what's with your heart, kind of go into non-synchronous nature. To get that under order, the electrical thing has to be adjusted to. This is a danger too, Angela. Somebody can hack into that and then do all sorts of mischief. We have seen that in some patients that happened. So
Wow.
that's a big concern. Device kind of hacking, and then some people do it deliberately so that they can commit murder. you know. So
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah, that's I have a lot is improved now. I don't want to scare people, but that was there, and then down the line we are worried about that because there could be more devices within us. There is a brain chip also they want to install. So people are Elon Musk. I think he was proposing that to overcome the algorithm of something like artificial intelligence, Chat GPT like.
Uh-huh.
They want to have algorithm overcoming chip in our brain. And I'm completely against it. I'm just telling
Yeah.
future.
And then don't that stop you from even, if you doing that, wouldn't that affect you too when you're going swimming and everything, or staying
Yeah,
waters, or
yeah,
being certain machines?
yeah. I think they really were. That's why they have to think about a lot of things, but then they kind of say, "Oh, we're going to make sure that they are not electrocutable, and so that you won't have the shock when you go into the water." That's okay, but what I'm against is how is that they are taking over your real personality and trying to give us an avatar, you know?
Exactly.
I don't like that, I'm more for
There's
the
some things you can't mess with when it comes from nature itself.
exactly, exactly. See, if you take away who we are, I don't think that's a good thing. So there are promises, oh, you will be overriding the algorithms of the artificial intelligence. That way, you are kind of protecting yourself. But then, am I not creating? Already, if you see the social media, there is something completely different about people on their social media persona compared to what they are really are. See, when they meet them
Hmm.
in real life, you can see you have an image about them. Oh, this person is like this, like it, and they're totally different from that. So,
Exactly.
in other words, they build it up something for us, for our sake, and then they are not really that. And now they want to even take that persona also. So I thought that was crazy.
Well, I might change my I like that the title you gave me, not to change the subject. The soul worker. I think that would be good for the tree book.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, because you can really get close to with some of the work with gardening because they're dealing with other life forms, and then you are giving without really, actually there is a love in the gardener's heart, the way they protect the plant, the way they nurture it, the way they provide the nutrients and the shade and everything, right? And they give the support also when the plant is growing, so that all those nurturance that you are giving comes back to you too, Angela.
And you said it's a lot, or you said a lot? You
Yeah.
said it's a lot.
Which one? The gardening? No, no, no.
You said it's a lot in the garden heart.
Yeah, it is a lot of love, because
Oh, okay.
that's why they nurture the living beings, right? Even plants and all that too. So kind of nurtures other people too. The fruits and vegetables go and nurture people, right? So that's why a lot of creativity, lot of nurturance, a lot of love is involved in gardening. You know?
That's true. And I thought that would be probably good. I have to add that in too, then I guess. Is it
Yeah.
all right if I mention thanks to you for
Yeah.
coming up with these ideas for me in my book?
Sure, Angela. By all means, it will
I'll,
help
I'll
you.
send it to you before I actually do it so you can look it up.
Yeah, no problem. People who quoted me in other books and they came and showed me the books also. Um,
Oh, okay.
one lady I remember very well. She told me, actually, she was interviewing me for her podcast. So he invited me. So we were talking about it. Then she sprung out the food and said, Dr. Rao, see, I quoted you on this page. I said, wow. She told me 1 hour, 1 year ago, I believe I was in the clubhouse room and I talked to her about find out yourself first before you go and find out anybody else. That's what the quote she did. That's true, right? We have to know ourselves what we are before we say judgment or anything about other people. So that's what I think. That's a common sense, probably. I That's what she told me. Yeah, yeah, it's a good thing writing this philosophy mixed garden book.
Yes, and in my podcast
Yeah.
is the voice. Well, I have the voice from Earth Mother.
Ah, exactly. Exactly. You know
I
what?
will be asking you to come on there too, if you
Yeah.
don't mind.
Yeah. You know what it is? In a Send me the invitation, then I'll be able to come up. What it is?
Okay.
What
I'm
is?
getting it all together. I set up the room in here, but
Yeah.
I set up the house.
Okay.
And then from the house I want to do the book, and from the book I want to go into the podcast and
Very
like the
good.
workshops and stuff.
Very good. Okay, just let me know when it is. If I'm not really occupied with something important, I'll definitely come. Okay.
Oh sure. Thanks.
The other thing
Yes.
is,
Huh?
about the gardening. We were talking about it. Other thing I saw was, no, you were saying Mother Earth. Actually in India they
No,
consider.
it's Earth Mother because I don't
Yeah.
want to get in trouble with Mother Earth. 'Cause, Mother Earth got a big trade name on them
No,
from
no,
all
no.
of those
Yeah, yeah.
magazines.
Yeah, but the thing is, the feeling of people in India have this earth as a devi, that means as a goddess, and they worship that. Okay, so a lot of relationship like that. They actually believe there is a goddess that is overseeing the actual earth.
Oh my goodness! You see my name inside of my profile. That's what the kids. Well, not the kids. Well, some of them was kids and some of them was adults that had
Yeah.
big situations. They was disabled children and stuff. They actually named me like the garden goddess.
That is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Of the garden that I actually ran.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, there's a mythical story in which a girl is found in the top layer of soil because somebody buries and goes or whatever, and then
Hmm.
they consider she is born out of the earth, right? So they picture as like there's a lady who represents this goddess of earth, and then she takes her back, something like that. So it's very common to believe that earth is our god. Like that was the. So actually, my wife's name is Dharani. You know what Dharani means? The
Is
one.
what?
My wife's name is Dharani. Dharani
Spell
means
it?
Dharani.
Oh, okay.
The meaning is she is the one that is one with the nature, with the earth. Okay,
With
so
nature of the art.
yeah, she's one with the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one who is carrying the earth, something like that. But you know what? She has patience. They say the earth has a lot of patience to take us and all that. My wife has a lot of patience. That is for sure. you know, I always wondered how did they name her? How did she turn out? Um,
That's nice. You live up to her name.
yeah, yeah. I'm not kidding. She's really.
No, I believe you. I said she lives up to her name.
Yeah, yeah, I'm very uh, orderly, disciplined, and all that, right? And she kind of puts up with the kids or whatever, however they are, but she's loving and very, very patient with everybody. So that's what I.
And dealing with kids, you got to have a lot of patience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I did childcare for over 27 years or more.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, the children, you got to. And I was working with ADHD kids that used to come to clinic, and the people who are take carers of those kids, they were very, very patient. And then they always brought them on time. They always attended to everything that the kid needs. And finally, they made me come to their nursing home because there are like 8 or 10 people are like that. And I went there, and they were beautiful. All the caretakers, they were so patient with every kid. The kids can throw tantrums, but these people don't react at all. Very calm, very nice. I thought they are angels too.
Yeah, I used to tell one of the parents, my little son used to look at me like something was wrong with me because I used to tell him he used to do all that. I said, you know what? He'll be a very good actor. And he would stop and look at me like only if his eyes could say he's going to hurt me, he would. I would say, yes, all of that. And I said, a singer, oh my God, the way you be yelling and screaming and hitting those different notes. So
Yeah,
sometimes if you play with them with the things they do, and
yeah,
let them know it's really a talent that they have. We might think it's something wrong with them. No, they
yeah,
really have a talent that they can actually get involved with. Let them act it out.
yeah. And
Mhm.
that's it. Sometimes they let them lose, and then they'll be okay. My son, he was treated like that. He was a kid. He cannot take afternoon naps. He has to wander around. Every kid has is taking the nap. But these people were very patient with him. They sat with him. They did some activities with him and all that. And all that hyperactivity is gone after he took a musical instrument. He was playing trumpet, and then he got
Uh-huh.
into that, and he became a very accomplished trumpet player. Now he's a teacher for a music class in a high school. But when he's growing up, he was very restless, but then after the music, he calmed down completely.
Yeah, that energy. If you make them like busy of things they love,
Yeah,
that'll wear them out too because they're doing something they love and that's their passion.
exactly.
Because people don't realize that, and you can't not program them the way you want to. And
Yes.
that's why everybody keeps saying no, they have to, and they got to follow that. I said no, it's like you
Yes.
having control of somebody else never being able to be themselves.
Yeah, excellent, Angela. That's a very excellent point. I kind of totally agree with you. That's what it is. You have to work with what their energy, what they are, and then
Yes.
yeah, not like tapping something else as ideal, and you got to measure up to it. Actually, in education also, we don't want to people a cog in the wheel. We want their own creative self come through. Then they will be happy.
Yep. You can give them pointers of some of the things they love to do and stuff. That's why I said I used to let them set up their own programs. Like,
Yeah,
I asked them, "What do you think we should do?" Like, if I don't know, and it's so interesting because you
yeah,
give them that time, to be able to share their ideas. They're so excited because they always being told, "No, we're
yeah,
not going to do that." Who asked you? Nobody told you to say that. And so when they get that opportunity, you have more fun.
yeah,
You have no problem in the program because
yeah.
they doing their program.
You
They're
see,
not
all you have
yours.
to do is observe their tendencies, what kind of instincts they have. For example, somebody is a singer, somebody is a painter, somebody is a sculptor, whatever, right? You can
Hmm.
see their activities, and without imposing your will, your ideas, you just observe what they are. Then they reveal to you what they are interested in.
And they actually used to do that, and we used to buy the different uniforms and stuff that they
Yeah,
would need. We
yeah,
had a librarian here, we had a doctor, we had a chef.
uh,
It used to be so much fun because then they take life more serious too
yeah,
because you actually giving them the tools they want. So
exactly.
sometimes they'll switch up. There was one little boy from Africa, and
Mm,
he was really good shooting bulls, right?
mm, mm,
And then when we had the fireman come over, right? And he
yeah.
was a rapping fireman.
Uh,
So he brought his gear, and
mm,
we have a book that opened up to a fire engine that they could sit down in.
mm.
So when we start putting all of those things out, and he gave them so many different materials, when
Yeah.
his mother came to pick her up, he told her he's no longer going to be a basketball player right now.
Yeah.
He's got to work on his
That's it.
he's got to work on his fireman. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness. And they said, Mr. Angela, what are you doing to him? I said, but he could be a fireman too and play ball. I said, you just got to let him know that
Yeah.
firemen have basketball courts inside of the fire engine. I said, you have to probably take him to visit different fire engines because they have sports there.
Yeah.
Sometimes they never go home, you know, so they got to stay busy too and in the right state of mind.
Yeah. Yeah,
But it
if they're
was so
having
funny.
fun, they won't go home. That's true because they are having so much fun. They like to continue that, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, even the firemen never make it home. They got their own kitchen in there. They got their own bathrooms. They have basketball courts.
yeah,
You'd be surprised what be inside of a fire engine when they
yeah.
have a couple of floors.
Yeah, they have to be ready, right? They are the first workers, right? So they have to be ready, and then they have to respond. First responders, right? So
Hmm.
they don't have any
And
time.
sometimes they never get a chance to go out. So a lot
Yeah,
of those things are inside of the fire engine. Well, they
yeah,
call it the
yeah.
ladder engine.
I seen that in our
Firehouse.
local fire engine. They called me
Hmm.
sometimes something function was happening. I was the only doctor in the town, so they called me. I went there and I saw that what you were saying. They have everything there to just to stay there for several days if need be. And then they said told me that people take weekly or 2 weekly shifts, and then they don't have to go
Hmm.
home because they are always ready to respond. So yeah, that's true.
And it's good for their mentalness too, because nobody's going to just be sitting in a firehouse waiting for a
Yeah,
fire to happen.
there is something about restlessness of these kids in their body, in their mind.
Hmm.
They are trying to tell you something, but you are kind of off the chart, and you're imposing something on them because you think I'm the teacher, I have the authority, or I'm the parent, I have the authority. Then they really show the restlessness because they don't want to listen to you. They want to do what they want to do, and if you are forcing them, then they become more and more restless and more, and that is shown in their pulse and blood pressure, and we can understand them easily, especially when they are very, very sick. If they are in the bed, suppose
Uh-huh.
you bring them a food that is not really good for them, they don't like it, taste and all that. They show on the bedside you have the monitor, right, for the blood pressure and pulse. That goes up,
Uh-huh.
that goes up, even though they are down. So we used to tell them they don't like this food, or they don't like this kind of thing. So give them some sedation or something so that they will calm down till they become healthy enough. Suppose they have pneumonia, we are giving antibiotics maybe a couple of days before that clears, right? So we tell them that. So I kind of got a lot by studying the kids with ADHD. you know I didn't want to use medications all the time, so I used to cut down the medication quite a bit, but put these natural things for them. Then they were made them happy with what they were doing or what they want to do. That made them not to take that much medication anymore. So they're not really restless enough. So I kind of put it into the schools I was going to at the time. I told them, you have to make it a goal for us to cut down the medication. And the nurses who were there, they cooperated very well, and
That's good.
yeah, we were able to take off some medication, some people on the medication. I thought it was a good thing in the long run, because otherwise everybody is mechanically giving medications because teachers complain about these kids. Let me get a glass
And
of
then you
water.
have a lot of teachers that go through so much and be burned out. They
Yeah, yeah,
can't really deal with much of anything. And then they have their own kids. A lot of their own kids usually have problems because there's so much going on. By the time they get home, they're tired.
yeah, they are.
And then they, don't give so much of themselves, they can't even help their own kids sometimes.
Yeah, there's a tremendous pressure on them to get these kids into taking medications just because they are restless, or they are kind of not behaving, so-called behaving according to what they want, according to the rules and all that. So I kind of encourage the nurses to what we call cognitive behavioral therapy, right? So there are the university. I was in Iowa, right? So I used to send to
Cognitive behavior.
cognitive behavioral therapy. But then specifically for these kids, they said love first therapy, like they had made these documentaries, and then we sent some people to the University of Iowa, and where they, for example, the kid is in the second floor and he's afraid to go into elevator, they would not take him, or they would not push him into that. They would allow him to stay there, take his time, and then come in. So they allowed him to take his own time to get into that slowly. So they were kind of staying with his trepidatiousness or anxiety and let it cool down and then take a step on his own, and he did that. So that's an example of allowing these kids to grow into their fear and get rid of it with love. That's they were very good, and they did a lot of kids like that without medications, which I liked very much.
Sure, that's good.
So lots
Some
of
have the patience, some don't.
yeah. That's the thing. That's why
And you can't even afford them because you don't know what they're going through. We had a therapist doctor that came and told all the women, because it was women teachers, and he was like, "How would you like if I sit here and label each one of you by the issues that women had as they developed?"
yeah, that's true. So mostly people are put on a core curriculum and forced to achieve some things with the classroom. Otherwise, they are punished. The teachers. That's why a lot of teachers in that high school, they were burnt out completely. And then they used to come and then they used to complain, and they used to ask for medication for many people, but they don't need that. They need discipline, but they don't have that. Yeah.
Yep. And then you have it that even a lot of teachers, out of the first, if it's a brand new teacher, you give them 2 to 5 years and you'll know if they're ready for that.
Yeah.
Most young teachers would quit.
Yeah.
Before that 5 year time is out.
Yeah, because they can't take it because they themselves are restless. And then these kids also like a different normal kids that they have problems at home. They bring it to the classroom, and they are continuously going with anxiety all the time. The teachers who came to me, they told me that they cannot control the kids. They are different behavior, different people, and they are having nervous breakdown, and that is true. They really had nervous breakdown.
And then if they actually look at what they're eating in the morning when they sending them out and giving them certain things, because some parents be rushing and just give them junk food and stuff. True. That plays a lot on them because by that 2 hour time, that teacher's going to see what that kid ate.
Yeah, that sugar, that processed food release the sugar so much faster. We call them high glycemic foods. That means the moment you eat, they break down into the sugar and then it goes in. There's no protein, no fiber. So, like a oatmeal is good versus white bread sandwich. Most of the time, they get this $1 McDonald's, which is really all processed food, which is not good for the kids. Yeah, you are exactly right. Sometimes they eat the wrong foods, they get much more hyper that day.
And then especially if it's a lot of chemicals, it's going to react. When you drop them off in the morning, they wake up. Yes, the energy is a little slow. Yeah. It's like the same way if you was going to put something in a car. So if you gave them that, you better believe in around 2 hours when that stuff starts breaking down in their system, those teachers are going to see it. I don't know if you want to hear about it, but the teachers are definitely going to see it.
Yeah. And even the adults also, you see, once you are used to this processed food on a chronic basis and you don't cook at home and you don't pay attention to what is the content of my food, that also leads to restlessness with a lot of people, fidgety, and then they're irritable and all that. That's all pre-diabetics, diabetics. It happens very much so. But also in young people with normal metabolism, they're subjected to
Mhm.
this fluctuation of blood sugars is not good in the long run. You know. Uh, but
And I said you could see so much difference afterwards. Then you got some of them that you could teach them how to eat the right way. Then when they
yeah,
get out and go out to school and college,
yeah.
they set up eating a whole lot of junk food, so they start right back into that routine.
Exactly. I taught a lot of my patients to prepare their own vegetables and grow the vegetables and all that. And some people took it serious, and then they grew in their apartments and they grew in their backyards. And they used to bring me samples of them, tomatoes,
Oh, cool.
cauliflower, and some greens, and they were very nice because they did not use any artificial fertilizers or insecticides. They were using compost. That also I suggest to them, get a compost in the backyard, then that will be a natural manure, which is very good for the plants, and there's like organically grown, right, essentially. And then they were able to do that, and they enjoyed those fruits very much, and then they always brought me the samples, so that were good. I didn't expect them, but they were just giving just as a token of sharing or something. As I said, well, yeah, you put us on the right path, so this is good for us. So we got to the tomatoes. One guy, you grew only tomatoes, nothing else. So I had a big basket of tomatoes for me all the time. They were saying that I have so much, I don't know what to do. So he was growing so much, I believe. So that was nice.
He had to probably do a lot of bottling,
Yeah. Mhm. But
canning, and
that
preserving them and making sauces. It'd be good to store them just as well.
yeah, that patient did one thing though. He cut the tomatoes and put a lot of salt on it and was eating.
Oh
Then
my goodness.
Then I noticed his blood pressure was high. Then I asked her, hey, but what are you doing? Why is your blood pressure going up? They said, oh, doc, every day I enjoy these tomatoes. I put a lot of salt on it and drink. Then he said, stop it. Don't do that. Take a little bit, not too much. And then he cut down, and then the blood pressure was okay after that. But
That's the
yeah, and you can have a good healthy thing and made it very unhealthy by somebody was putting so much of peanut butter on his sandwich, not a small amount, like a half a jar of that peanut butter he was eating.
wow. Well, I'm allergic to peanut butter, so.
Yeah. So I had to go to the details of what they are eating sometimes just to know what they are doing. Because they may not be paying attention to that. And then they're thinking, oh, it's a good, tasty, it's a good thing. But then too much of a good thing can be bad to you too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can.
Yeah. Well, see, we have been doing this calming the mind routine almost 21 day today. So people are, I hope they are, at least some of them are doing that and then getting the benefit. It's a kind of a simple habit, but then if you don't pay attention to it, it will slip and the day is on us and it will be thinking and going. So instead of that, take in the morning, if you don't pay attention to the devices, sit down and taking the deep breath and then getting to the presence and then work in the presence, then you will use your thought very well. And once in a while during the day also take a break. I told my son, like, you are in front of the red light, stop and take deep breath. Suppose you are in the work, somebody calls you, then get up and do your talking and then also do the break. If you are walking in a long corridor, try to do the deep breath or meditation, like those simple things helped him quite a lot. He works in a school too, but he's a music teacher, so he has to work with young kids, right? And he
Uh-huh.
enjoys he enjoys teaching them because it says most of them are they learn from him and they're very appreciative of that. So he was very happy about that.
And their music is meditation, so he's really
Yeah.
enjoying
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's what he says about his practice also. That's like a meditation for him because he's completely lost in his practice. And
Mm-hmm.
he will never miss, even at home when he was there, he will never miss practicing. He will have so many things at home. he will leave us and go down into the basement and practice. But at least the things that he had to do, he would do it every day. I never saw him missing it. You know, that's a good thing. We can have some habit like that, like you are going into the garden in the morning and just relating with your nature, and appreciating. This is called pratyahara in yoga. What does it mean is, you go there, you see the dew on the leaf of a plant, right? And then you wonder how it is standing there and all that. Don't ask all that, just to pay attention to the dew and see the diamond like glittering of that in sunshine, and enjoy that. Don't talk
Yeah.
about it. That is when it becomes, your senses are coming to you, the sensation, but you are not reacting with your mind that way, but you are just keeping quiet and being with the beauty of whatever is seen. This is big in ancient times and later on, because they always talked about having some kind of control on the senses. You know, Modern times, what happened was, we kind of let go the senses, go wherever they are. You know, and that is one of the big problems, because people cannot control to eat, or cannot control to drink alcohol, or smoking, or whatever, right? Those, lot of them are slaves to the sensation. Instead, if you are controlled, then you can do moderately, and then you'll okay. You know,
That is so true.
yeah, it's a big thing. And in ancient times, they wanted senses to be with, like they talk about this tortoise, that when it is exposed something, it withdraws the legs, right? So ancients taught about, when you are tempted by these sensations, try to withdraw them. But in modern times, they thought that was suppression, so let it go completely. So there's somewhere in the balance that should not let go whatever that comes at our way, or at the same time, you should not suppress something natural. you know
And then it's also the surroundings. So it's
yeah, surrounding also, that's true.
yeah.
Peer pressure, that is a very big deal with the kids, all the drugs.
Peer pressure, and sometimes it's adult pressure.
Yes.
You have adults that actually, because I know as I grew up, it was a lot of adults, and sometimes it's surprising
Exactly.
when your parents don't even know. It could be family members and close friends, but they don't do a lot of things with their kids, but they promote other things on other people's kids.
Yeah.
So that was my whole thing of getting into childcare. I wanted to make sure kids didn't have to go through some of the things that I went through when I was younger.
Yeah.
Or be influenced by the wrong adults.
Yeah, that's true. Well, but again, the same problem, because adults who are brought in, like you can let go your senses whichever direction they want to go, and they will grow up not having the discipline that is needed. And then they cannot make kids learn the discipline too, and that is reflected in the school. When they go to school, they don't want to respect authority, or they don't want to be responsible for their behavior, and they want to not to be stopped of anything that they are doing. So that is also there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they got to remember too that it's like another form of slavery.
Yeah.
So when kids look at it that way, that's what they think about sometimes too.
Exactly. That is fed by the parents too. So there's no respect to the administration, or government, or police, all those things grow into that. But it's a question of just cultivating the medium, the balance between suppression and complete allowing the senses to go wherever. So you got to have a balance in that. Actually, I have a book, Angela. It's called Healthy Pleasures. In that Healthy Pleasures, you can have these, but they are like kind of, they talk about this balance all the time.
Is it in your bio? Healthy Pleasures, you said?
That's the book I read way back. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I have a huge library at home. I used to read a lot of books before, but I don't read anymore. But before I used to. Somebody told me, book is also external to you. So once you are in really engaged in inward study or inquiry, then that's a beautiful journey. So once you are there, you don't have to read other books. So people can read them, but then you grow into that. You see, after you read so much, you grow into not reading the books, but then observing yourself in life. So life is like a mirror, and you can observe yourself how you are in that mirror and learn. That's called swa adhyaya. That is, swa means your own. Adhyaya means study. You study your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own responses, and then you can transform them.
True. Did you ever find that poem?
Oh yeah, I'm going to send that to you. The translation I did not find, but I wrote it down. I remember because
Oh, okay.
but I think it's one of those diaries that I had. So I'm going to find it and send it to you. I did not forget it, but I could not find it. But when I find it, I'm going to send it to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to remind, since we was talking about
No,
reading.
that's a beautiful poem, Angela, where the flowers are singing to the man who is going to hurt them by plucking them, right? And also questioning where is your sense of fairness, where is the sense of non-violence, where is your sense of kindness, all that. So it's a much deeper questioning of human behavior, and also how the nature has its own life, why we are noticing that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way actually it was sung by several famous singers, and they kind of express the weeping of the flowers, the pain in their voice, all those things they express in that. So that makes it much more colorful. It's not just reading it, but actually the song was sung kind of the poem has 6 or 7 stanzas, so it's a long poem, 6 or 7 minutes, I think.
Yeah, but it probably should give me some inspiration too while writing about the garden too.
Yeah, sure, definitely, because most of the people don't know there is life in the plants, there is life in the flowers, there is life in the leaves. They're not sensitive to that. They are not introduced to that. They may think the trees and all the nature is there to serve them, but they have their own life. They have it can go to. So once you are sensitive to that, then you will try to nurture that, regenerate them, reinvigorate them. So if you go and give plant some water and then you are nurturing it, actually if you do that way, I'm nurturing another living thing, then you have your own feedback of that. Isn't that true?
Yeah, it's true. I'm probably gonna start more gardening. Well, I was sprouting some of my ginger now, but I had so much compost and stuff because I do composting too.
Yeah.
And I thought we was gonna be back in the garden this month, but now they put it off to another month. So I'm probably gonna just start. I usually start the starters, but I don't like to do all those plants in the house when I don't have to. You know how you do them more? I don't mind giving them away if people know how to take care of them. But I usually do it so I can take it into the garden.
Yeah.
And around May, I usually have 1,000 plants that we put into the garden. So from the whole up or going back in there, it's just like I just gotta wait. So I was just thinking I should just start doing me a little bit of plants in the house again.
My sister does it like she lives in Nashville, not Nashville, Tennessee, Murfreesboro, and she has a huge garden behind her house, and then she has so many vegetables, so much she grows, and she spends most of her time in the morning and in the evening in the garden. She doesn't even come and talk to
I
anybody.
used to do it every day.
Yeah.
Every day. That was my whole thing of getting up early in the morning, going in the garden.
Yeah.
Usually, if I got up early, I run into some of the Chinese families.
Yeah.
After the Chinese families come in, me and the Indian families, because we used to do a lot together. So I end up running into them. We stay in the garden almost all night. So it's time for them to go home around 6 o'clock. When it's time for them to go for their lead pray, then they go home. And then we start back over at night. And you have the Mexican, the regular family that's coming from work and stuff. They start getting involved because I had took the child care service and put it into the garden when I was doing child care. So we
Okay.
was always outside. We would take a lot of our materials and bring it to the garden.
Wonderful.
So never
Mm.
had that problem. You have problems, you
Yeah.
can't control people, so you're gonna always have people who have the mood swings.
Yeah.
But we found out outside with your children, they
Yeah.
had a better time. They
Exactly.
behaved better. By the
Exactly.
time their parents came to pick them up, they didn't have to worry about doing dinner or anything because we cooked from scratch
Yeah.
for them. They go home, and like I told the parents, if you work the program with
See,
me, you should
that,
have no problems with children, whatever the idea that they want to be as they
yeah,
grow up.
that used to be the norm. People playing outside, kids are with the nature. That used to be the norm. But now with these video games, with these devices and all that, they are not taking advantage of going out and playing even when it is sunny and nice. So this obesity has become a problem because of this inactivity. So many ways kids are losing if you don't let them go and play outside. You know I really think they should be going out, spending some time away from these devices, away from all this mind occupation on the TV and all that. They should play in the nature, play with each other. Then they will learn camaraderie, relationship, and all that. Also sensitive to the nature too. You know. We used to be outside all the time because we never had these TVs or radios or anything like that at home. We were always after school. We came and we have our own friends and we went out, and then we had so many trees within our compound, and so we used to go, and some fruit trees, some orange trees, some what's the guava, so many different trees have this you know all the fruits that we used to enjoy a lot. But also we used to play around the trees, climbing the trees, going down. That was wonderful childhood. We didn't have to have so many devices, so many things to do that. Just to play it with each other, and that was good. I wish more kids are exposed like that, Angela. You know.
Yeah, and you don't find kids creating like games to play outside.
Yeah.
Do you know the kids don't even know how to jump rope?
Yeah. That is a bit normal. Now it is not in practice anymore. Yeah.
Kids scared to do flips.
Mm,
you know,
yeah. Yeah. So
scared to walk on balance beams.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Another thing is when they are engaged with those plays and then giggling and pursuing each other and all that, they were quiet in their mind. Whereas if you expose them to these devices and to the information only, then they're forced to pay attention to the information, and then they are inculcating this chattering mind in them indirectly. Stimulus for that. Versus if you're really physically running around and chasing each other and climbing the trees, you are really focusing on that activity, physical activity, where mind is really uh, tied to that activity. So it doesn't give a chance to mind go this way and that way. And that's a good thing, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why we are talking in this room about calming our mind first thing in the morning, and also before you go to bed. That's the last thing. Just sit down in a chair, keep the distractions away, sit tall, keep the spine straight, take deep breaths in and out, and then do them five gradients. If you do first five, just to deep breathe in and out. Next five, just be aware of the sensation the air makes on the nose. And the third is just remember you are not just the body mind complex, but you are beyond that awareness. So this is exercise. I suggest you do that every day, as much as you can, which really makes you come to the present moment and stay in the present moment and work. And that way you don't let your mind run around as it wants to. Okay. And then expose only the important things. The rest of them, put them away. Don't check them email every minute, and then don't allow the information overload really make your mind run all the time. Okay. So with that, I think we will end the room here, Angela. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, I will see you again. I will send you that video of that. That's called Pushpa Vilapam. Pushpa means flower. Vilap means sad singing. That is the title of that. I will send you that. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a
Okay.
good one.
You too. Bye bye.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye. So we will end it here today, and I'll see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.